And since I was kind of central to us getting involved in it, I thought I'd give you a quick history, and this isn't going to be very long, but I just want to give you an update of how this all happened. We got the Rotary name on this. This was the biggest program for Rotary since the 1950s, when Bruce's dad and some others established Pleasantville. This Rotary Center for the Arts was a really big project, and we got all the clubs in Kelowna together to support it. So I was the president in 2000, 2001, got a call from Mayor Walter Gray, and I guess he thought I was a good mark because I had already been chairing a couple of committees for the city during that time, and he said, look, the city needs some organization to raise money so that we can get a grant from the government to build this thing. And he said, it's an arts center. Well, I said, you know, Walter, Rotarians have no interest in helping a bunch of artsy-fartsy, rich arts people. And he said, Bill, no, he said, look, there's going to be over 50 clubs and organizations, kids, seniors, all kinds of groups, and there's certainly not going to be a bunch of rich people, and they really do need the support of Rotary. So anyway, we argued for a little bit, and he convinced me to, get interested in it. So he said, look, all we need to raise is $500,000. Well, I negotiated it down to $350,000. And he said, look, you can raise it over 5 years. I said, well, okay, we'll see what we can do. So what I did is, it was too much for our club. So I wanted to get all the clubs involved. And how do you sell this to a whole bunch of Rotarians in different clubs that all have different objectives? Well, what you do is you go to each club, and I broke it down. I just checked my notes from 23 years ago, and I broke it down to the analysis of the challenge to raise $350,000. And at the time, there was 421 Rotarians in Kelowna. In our club, there was 125. So I broke it down to how much per year each club would be expected to raise. And it was, like for our club, $35,000. For the Morningside Club, it was $5,834. Then I went one step further and broke it down to how much per member would we have to raise over 3 years. And per member, it's only $277 a year. Okay? So how do you raise that money? Well, we did raffles. And by the way, the reason that we have a pro-am now, and the reason it's so popular, is because people were so blame tired of selling tickets. we have another vehicle for raising money. But anyway, so I went around to all of the clubs and told them, tried to impress upon them the importance of having our name on this great facility, and tried to get them to be proud of it. It's very difficult to get Rotarian clubs interested in something else. because they all have their own priorities. But anyway, we managed to sell it, and we established, every year we had a new committee based on a few members from each club. There was kind of 2 or 3, maybe 4 members from each club that was on the committee. We raffled off, one of the things we raffled off was a box in Prospero Place. It was called Skyreach Place at that time. And then we did a bunch of sports cars. We did a Corvette. We did a couple of old cars.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah.
Remember Randy and everybody poo-pooed it?
Yeah, yeah. And it was interesting, you know, these like, I think there was an old Mustang and something like that. And, you know, they were classic cars. So we raffled them off, but they didn't run very well. So the winners weren't particularly impressed. So we went back to new cars. We did a SUV and a boat one year. And anyway, over 5 years, we raised $350,000. Now, your club did most of the heavy lifting, I'll tell you that. But it was, that's the history of the Rotary Center for the Arts. Any questions?
Would you do it again?
Huh?
Would you do it again?
Yeah, damn right. I would. It's interesting getting all these clubs, you know, involved in something. And there was some people in some clubs that were difficult, and but you know, we did it. It was a big challenge. Doug?
Well, just a comment, Bill, that just a point of interest. So I was president a couple of years after that, so I was one of the presidents in the 3-year period that we had. We actually had a signing ceremony, maybe at the Art Gallery, around here someplace anyway, where the current and next 2 presidents had to sign a contract. Because we were really committing to do this for 3 years, but Rotary's, as you know, is a 1-year organization. Everybody changes, the whole board, everybody changes. So we required that we actually sign a contract to get to the finish line.
Any other question?
Bill, I don't know how accurate this is secondhand information, but I understand that the city was not very happy recently. I don't know, Steve, if you have a comment on
I
that.
can't hear you very good. Can you come up here?
I sure can.
Thanks, Bill. I don't know how accurate this information is, secondhand information, but my understanding is that the city would not do this kind of thing that they did before because the feeling was that $350,000 was too cheap to get a corporate name on a building like this. So I don't know, Dave, do you have you heard about that? Maybe Bill, you got a comment on that?
I think you're wrong.
I think $350,000 to buy it today.
Yeah, that was 23
How much
years
does
ago.
that translate into now?
I just said that was 23 years ago. We have to look at inflation and everything.
23 years ago, $350,000 was a lot of money.
That's
It's
right.
not now.
Yeah.
Bruce, come up here so everybody can hear you.
I didn't want to get close to Bill when I was going to say this, okay? Now that I'm here, I'm going to move over here just a little so you don't hit me too hard. There's one reason that committee that Bill chaired, you didn't mention, you chaired that committee, and we met in a warehouse here somewhere or some funny little thing, and the meetings were usually 8 o'clock in the morning. Not bad. But if you arrived at 8:02, Bill was already 2 minutes ahead of you, even if the room was empty. He talked to an empty room for 2 minutes, and then we all showed up, and he taught us a real lesson in running meetings. If the meeting's at 8 o'clock, be here at 2 minutes to, and you'll get the whole meeting. Bill, it was a wonderful time, and thank you for the lesson.
Thanks, Bert. Yeah, it was really fun, and we had a lot of fun, but, you know, that's the whole reason why we have a pro-am now. Because it's a hell of a lot more fun than selling tickets all year, right? So, next time that we are asking for your support for pro-am, go out and get a bunch of sponsors. Yes.